So what do I mean by this? Well, let's say that questions 1 through 5, you know they're in close proximity together. You know that you learned the product rule first. And so you know for a fact that all those questions are going to be in relation to that product rule. So you just have to think about the steps, and then you complete those first 5 questions. Then you look at questions 5 to 10 and you think, yeah, those are all going to be based on the quotient rule. So you immediately know that that's the application. So you look at the rules for that and you immediately apply and you do the practice that way. That is not going to be helpful because, first of all, you're not going to be tested that way, right? You would never be tested with a professor prompting you on which technique to use, especially when you get into higher education. In engineering, that's never the case. We're completely given a different application or different context, and we have to synthesize new knowledge by being able to distinguish characteristics of those problems and know which tool to utilize from what we've learned, right? And so we want to ensure that our practice simulates that type of experience. And so when you completely reorganize randomly these questions, what happens is you have to actually actively engage with the material and ask yourself that. So you look at a question and think to yourself, what is the characteristic of this question that prompts me to use a specific rule that I've learned? And you start to recognize the differences amongst the types of questions, but you can also start to form linkages across the similarities too. And that's when you get the really deep comprehension that you're looking for. But there's also a phenomenon called desirable difficulty, and it states that the harder it is for us to learn something, the better it will stick. The more we challenge ourselves, the better. And so this is our opportunity to simulate an experience that will actually emulate what is going to be on our exams, but also what's going to be in our real world scenarios in our professional careers. And it allows us to leverage that desirable difficulty. And also, interleaving doesn't solely apply to the topics, but also the modes of learning too. And so perhaps one day you are utilizing the blurting method or the Feynman technique, and then you want to complement that with drawing a diagram to understand the linkages, or perhaps you watch a YouTube video, or perhaps you watch an online module that's from an external source. And all of this is going to provide you different perspectives of that topic at hand or of that material. So it can be extremely beneficial. So interleaving is really powerful, and I hope that you take advantage of it. And secret number 4, the most important one of them all, the one that if you neglect, nothing I ever tell you will ever matter. It is sleep. It is deep rest. And before you tune me out and think that this is trivial, I promise you it's not. And I know this because I see a lot of students cram and pull all-nighters, and that is literally the opposite to what I'm about to say here.